In today's episode of the Wild Party podcast, I'm excited to introduce you to Kate Assaraf, the founder of Dip Sustainable Hair Care. Kate's mission is bold, refreshing, and deeply intentional to create high-performance hair care that helps people buy better, buy less, and support small businesses along the way. In this episode, we dive into how she's developed Dip's iconic bar shampoo and conditioner, what it really takes to make sustainable products that actually work, and why she's saying no to traditional marketing tricks in favor of honesty and community. We'll also explore how Dip is redefining sustainability by focusing on real-life solutions, the power of word of mouth, and how a small brand can make a big impact without losing its soul. Kate's story is inspiring. Her products are game changers, and her perspective is one we all need to hear. Let's get the party started. Welcome to the Wild Party podcast, where we celebrate the visionaries behind vegan, ethical, and sustainable business. In each episode, we'll dive deep into their journeys, uncovering the why behind their mission-driven business. I'm your host, Stephanie Lahart. Tune in with me for passionate discussions about overcoming challenges, innovative marketing strategies, and the power of using business as a force for good. So whether you're an entrepreneur seeking guidance or a conscious consumer wanting to support impactful brands, join us as we explore the stories behind the businesses that are changing the world for the better. Let's get the party started. And today I'd like to welcome to the show Kate Assaraf, the founder of Dip. Kate is all about keeping it real, and after spending nearly 20 years in the beauty industry, she decided to found her own company called Dip Sustainable Hair Care, which aims to playfully educate people about the environment while encouraging people to buy better, buy less, and shop small. And I am all about that. First, I do have to tell our audience, Kate, because I'm sitting here laughing as I was with you in our pre-chat. Kate and I actually met before. This is not the first time we are talking. In fact, we recorded a whole podcast episode back in January. And it was one of those conversations that when we got off, I was laughing so hard. It was so much fun. I couldn't wait to put it up, out into the world. And then life took over. We had fires, we had mudslides, we had computer meltdowns, we had blackouts, and that was only the 2 weeks of January. So here we are now. Where are we? Now we're in March. We have reunited. Kate is going to re-share her story with us. Kate, thank you so much for coming back to the show.
Yeah,
Let's do
thank
it
you.
again. Let's recreate that magic, girl.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of deja vu, but it's in a better way. Version two should always be better than version one. So, there's nothing to miss in the last one, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, now neither of us are nervous because now we totally know each other. I mean,
Totally.
but I will say again, January was a very traumatic time in LA. So, for as much fun as our conversation was, I'm going to tell you honestly, I forgot a lot about what we talked about. So, if I
Totally.
ask you the same questions, please don't be like, man, this Stephanie girl, she doesn't remember anything. I mean, there was trauma.
Oh,
But the good news is, from that trauma, I now have more gorgeous hair because in the meantime, you were gracious enough to send me this gorgeous gift box to try all of your different products. And let me tell you, right now, I'm enjoying clean hair courtesy of your Dip shampoo and conditioner, the tobacco and driftwood
mm,
scent, which is some of my personal favorites. And I feel
yeah.
like I'm a better person for it. But before my hair became what it is today, Kate started on her journey. So, Kate, let's start there. You were in the beauty industry, girl, and you said, I'm leaving all that behind me. I'm going to start my own line.
Totally. That's so I had been in the beauty industry for about 20 years, and it's even crazy to say that out loud, 20 years. But I, maybe 10 years ago, I discovered that plastic wasn't getting recycled, and I learned about how, the accumulation part of plastic was like the least scary part of it. Actually, what it was doing to human and animal and aquatic life was way scarier with the endocrine disruptors and all of those things. So immediately I tried to change my life around plastic, but the one thing that I couldn't really, I was kind of like a charlatan about. So I was like, projecting out into the universe that I was reducing my plastic, but like actually in the shower when no one was looking, I was using my expensive bottled salon stuff because I just couldn't find something that, did my hair the way I really wanted it to be done.
So true. I am holding my hand up. I am that person too, where I was trying to walk the walk, talk the talk, sustainability, but still we are consistently served with single-use plastics. They're just
Totally.
out there and it's hard to get away with them, away from them. And some of my favorite things that I used to buy all the time was like different hand soaps, because for every
Mhm.
season there was a different package or flavor and you're like, "Oh, it's more plastic, more plastic." And then looking in my shower, same thing. So
Totally.
here you say decide, you know what, I'm going to create something better, also reduce the packaging, also make it environmentally friendly and non-toxic and, cruelty free. So take me on that journey then from beginning of what we like to call from idea to action. You were obviously like this was in your mind, you wanted to do this. So how did you
Yes.
start?
So starting is like kind of the hardest part, but it's also the least amount of action you have to take. First, you have to decide I'm going to do this, but then you have to say like, what am I really doing? Like, what problem am I really solving? And is it the plastic problem or is it the problem? For me, the problem I'm solving is people are tired of trying to buy something sustainable only to feel burned by like the marketing. People are tired of trying to do the right thing for the planet only to feel like they spent something money on something that was more expensive that like really didn't do what it promised and was less than like the substitute they were making. And so that emotion is what I tried to solve. It's not like it's the plastic crisis is one thing, but that emotion of just just feeling burned by sustainability was more important because I am that person. I felt like I had invested in lots of sustainable swaps and they like made me crazy because I was like, I don't think I can do this change long term. And hair care was really one of those. And so I watched people buy hair care. Like step one was I just watched people buy hair care in different channels for like 6 months. I went to like a CVS, I went to an Ulta, I went to Sephora. I just kind of perched out. I talked to hairstylists. I wanted to know how people purchased. And that was like really ground zero for Dip because I don't if you're trying to research how people who use sustainable hair care purchase, then you're not really moving the needle on plastic. But if you're looking at, hey, sustainable products exist already out there, like why aren't people buying them? You have to go look at what people are buying instead, which it was plastic bottled, like beautiful hair care, and of which I was that customer. And so that was really step one was doing the work of really understanding my customer.
Right. And when we see these products out there, like let's say specifically shampoo and conditioner, what the consumer doesn't understand is when you buy that beautiful plastic bottle, like I think it's like 85% of it is just like water, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the product is a very small portion. So essentially what we need to do at this point is re-educate people that look, you can buy a smaller product, it lasts as long, it
Mhm.
works, as well or better than what you had already accepted or been trained to use, right?
Yeah.
So I will say this. Okay, so when Kate and I first talked, it wasn't until the end of our conversation we both realized we're runners. And we got
Hmm.
very excited about that because one thing about running life is your hair is like always dirty. And washing my hair becomes like a event for me. What day am I going to wash it? Because if I know I'm going to run on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do I want to wash it on Tuesday, Thursday? Should I just wait to the weekend? It became like a whole thing for me. Um, but then, getting introduced to you and Dip, I was like, wow, I can actually wash my hair more regularly, not worry about stripping it, and,
Hmm.
fulfill all these other things that are important to me, like sustainability, being cruelty free, and everything. So, with that said, Kate did send me products, guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. I am not a paid spokesperson. I couldn't believe how well it worked. And this
Thank
was
you.
not in our first show, Kate. So I'm kind of
No.
I couldn't believe how great and different my hair felt after
Thank
one
you.
washing with these little shampoos. So I got the minis so I could try all the different scents. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, I've got to tell more people about this. This is ridiculous. So I know I'm preaching to the converted over there. You did this. Tell me, how did you start creating the whole formulation of this product? Like you were in the beauty industry, but then how did you then take it from like, okay, well, I know how products are put together. How do I put my own product together?
So the first step is finding a chemist that you really jive with and want to work with. And for me, the other piece was not using other bar shampoo and conditioner as benchmarks for performance. Like I didn't want to make something that was like, because in the beauty industry, what happens is an innovative product comes out, and then you bring that to a chemist, and then the chemist reverse engineers it. So you get a lot of sameness in the industry.
Mhm.
I was like, I don't want that. I don't want a chemist that's ever done bars before. I specifically chose a chemist who was responsible for making some of the past 4 decades super amazing, like back bar salon products. And so I said to him, I was like, do you want this challenge of creating a bar product that works as well as the stuff that you've already created? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, but then also you have to make it like gentle enough to use every day because I'm a runner and I need it to solve that problem. And then you have to make the conditioner so slippery that when I come out of the pool or the ocean, like it will detangle my hair like amazingly because that's like another thing for me. I was always bring my conditioner leaves my shower. Like in my whole life, my conditioner, I would always bring it to the beach or to the pool because most of my life I've had long hair and I just need conditioner in my hair the second I get out because I want it to like dry beautifully and I like don't want to miss any fun. And so with those kind of constraints, my chemist and I went back and forth, and I basically took the bars and would do half a head of the prototype and then half a head of like Oribe or half a head of Pureology or Kerastase, like Kevin Murphy, like all these like beautiful brands that are sold in salons. I wanted them to work so well that if I blew dry both halves of my head, you couldn't tell that there was a difference. And so that's what I did for a long time.
Just testing different products on opposite sides of your head.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was really, really meticulous about it. And then as soon as I found something that I think was like the perfect bar for shampoo and conditioner, then I gave it to everyone I knew. Like if you were somehow in my orbit, you had to try these bars with all different hair types. And I made people put them through the ringer. And I took their feedback and we made it even better. And that went from like my best friend has type 4 hair. And so she, it had to work for her hair as well as it had to work for my like lame, type 1 hair. So it was she has like big like curly, it's just curly and like dynamic her hair. Like when she walks, it moves. Like I've never had that. But I wanted it to work for everybody. And so yeah, I just obsessed over that before I launched.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is your product line is really simplified because, again, you go to a drugstore and there's like one brand will have like 50 different versions of their shampoo for this type hair, this type hair, this type hair. Oh, this one has argan oil in it. This one has keratin protein in it. And you're like, I don't even know what to use for my hair because we don't really know what type our hair is. So I loved that Dip really simplified everything. It's like, this is your basic shampoo, choose a scent that you like and it works. So, I did, I did, okay, I'm going to say you, but you gave me a gift card and then I went and picked products. So I went and picked like a bunch of the different scents and stuff because I was like, oh, let me see if there's any difference, whatever. So I tried them all and I'm like, oh my God, every one of them works perfectly. Like my hair felt consistently amazing and looked consistently amazing. And it took care of problems in my hair that I thought was just something that I had to live with. Like I always had like a lot of frizz and that was just gone. I'm like, wait, I don't have to use now the amount of after products in my hair because my shampoo and my conditioner are finally working with my hair instead of against it.
Yeah, that's another bottle bites the dust because you don't need, for me anyway, it got rid of all the serums and all the other things that I used to
Yes.
add to my hair. And that was intentional. Like I absolutely want someone to buy less stuff. Like the big conditioner bar, those little ones can last you like 3 to 6 months. The big conditioner bar like lasts people a year. So even if you don't care about plastic at all and you just care about hair, like you can save $200 to $500 a year just in conditioner.
Yeah, and that was the amazing thing for me. Like, oh my God, I don't have to use this other stuff because my hair is actually just like looks really great just as it is. And it was super silky and shiny. So when you were first testing these bars on your very willing friends and family, What was the initial reaction? Were they very skeptical or were they like, hey, I want to try something new? Because I think in our minds, when we see something in bar, we automatically go to very drying bar soap mentality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm of that ilk too. I also think that when I look at it. But so that's because a lot of those people were in my orbit already, like they politely accepted the challenge, but then came back with really great feedback that I just didn't expect because I don't have every hair issue. But I sent it to about 400 people that I knew. Like so among the 400 people like I sent these samples to, like I had all different problems that it solved that I never even considered. And that was like really exciting for me. I there was very few people that were like, "Oh, I don't think this is for me." And the thing that most people don't like about bar hair care, and myself included, is the storage. Like the storage of it, you imagine just like a slimy bar over time sitting in your shower. And so we tried to solve that with a shower rack that we love and we patented and it solves all the icks because like it's not enough to just put out bars that are great. Like you have to give people a way to live with this product and live with the purchase. So the shower rack is like one of my favorite things because it just uses gravity to take water off of the bars and it's cool and cute.
Yeah, it really is. And like you said, it's like we get used to doing things a certain way. It's like we all got used to things being very neat in a plastic bottle,
Mhm.
maybe sometimes glass, but pretty much always plastic. And then how do you then transition? Like, how do you re-educate people that this is then how you use this other product? Because when I
Right.
did make the commitment this year that I was changing all of my soap products to like a bar soap product, so hand soap, everything. So I wasn't buying these single-use plastics. You're right. The next time I'm like, well, how do I keep these bars kind of dry and neat looking and not
Yeah.
icky looking? So when a guest comes over and they need to wash their hands, they're not looking at like it's just kind of
Yeah.
gross because I'm using your soap, right?
I agree. I'm totally that person too. That's why it was so important. Like, if you're gonna build something like this, like try and get people away from luxury hair care, which is like beautiful glossy packaging and like like no mess. Like you have to make think of the whole experience surrounding it.
Exactly. And I mean, you even go as insofar as to like start rethinking, how you're selling these products too, because I know that I read that you actually avoid platforms like Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really important to me. I mean, you can't have a Prime Day without hearing that like all of the workers in the warehouse are like mistreated and overworked. Like, I think Amazon is very seductive. Like the convenience of it is so seductive. Like and it doesn't mean I never shop there. I do shop there, but I try and find things locally in my town first. And a big reason for that is because a lot of when you I guess people don't really realize when you shop in your town, the money stays in your town and supports the cool stuff around where you live. You know, I think people don't think about when they send their money off to like Shein and Temu and Amazon, your money immediately leaves your town. It stops working for you in the place that you live. And so with Dip, I want to encourage people to find their local retailer if that retailer sells it and support them instead of coming directly on our website. A big part of that is just so people are reinvesting directly to the entrepreneurs, the women entrepreneurs mostly in their town that like pay the taxes, that support their schools, their libraries, their EMTs. It's it's a really important conversation to have, and it's like bigger than shampoo and conditioner, and it's the one that I'm like probably the most passionate about.
Oh yeah, I've read that you've won various awards and people are really talking about it. In fact, I know that you even penned some of your own articles where you're really talking about like why are people like losing interest in sustainability and things like that, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way there's two things. Like I think sustainability is presented in a very finger waggly, fear-based way. And I just don't think you can save the world by barking at people. It doesn't work that way. Like, but what you can do is provide them with a solution to their lifestyle that maybe saves them money or gets them, makes them feel good. Like I don't think I always say finger waggling, but like I just don't think it makes anyone feel good. Like you can use humor to educate people about sustainability. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. And I actually could argue that doom and gloom turn people off way more. Like they feel rationally that they just can't do anything, so they don't. They're like, F it, I'm not doing this, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, how do you educate without alienate is what we say. And I think you
Totally.
put that very, very nicely because it's like we want to learn this better way and share it with people, but then it's also like we do know, people can easily turn that around and feel attacked or feel judged, and then they're like, no, absolutely not. So when you approach it, when you approach it playfully, people are more receptive. And you can definitely see that all over your website from the imagery to the, copy that you use to your little tagline, dip already, which I absolutely love. And this is all well and feel good, but as an entrepreneur, there is a lot of struggles behind the scenes of how to actually get this made, get this marketed, and then get people to really, accept it and use it on a daily basis. So how have you been, dealing with that challenge of getting your product into the marketplace and doing the marketing for it so people understand the product, maybe just from a digital realm without even
Mhm.
experiencing it first to, becoming lifelong converts?
Yeah, so I took a little bit of a risk. I made a hard line in the sand that we're not going to use influencers and we're not going to use like fake UGC, which UGC is user generated content. So in the brand marketing world right now, like if you launch a product, the first thing you do is get it into the hands of influencers who don't pay for it, obviously, because that's part of their job. And then the other one is like hiring UGC. People have never purchased the product, but want to like almost like cosplay as customers and like blast that onto the internet. So you see like every single person on TikTok seems to be using your product or on social media. And so those are two marketing tactics that I think are going to be very short-lived and burn companies out. I decided to do the exact opposite. I took a hard stance on that. And so now when you see a review of Dip or someone talking about it online or really even if they're talking unfavorably, it's all real. There is no kind of like curtain to be pulled back. Like anyone who talks about dip, they have purchased it. In very rare instances, like in this one, like where you were generous enough with your time with the podcast, like that's a very rare circumstance. But for the most part, it's only customers, people that have made like they've looked at the spectrum of brands, decided to put their money and buy dip, and then they have something to say about it. And to me, that's like a big badge of courage, not courage, but it's a badge of honor to like to have people that legitimately love it so much that they'll take it upon themselves, unincentivized, to talk about it online.
Yeah, and again, going back to our first lost conversation, I had not had the product in my hands. It all sounded very good when we were talking about it. And it was one of those things I was like, yeah, I'll eventually try it. And to be clear, people, I did not start this podcast to get free products. Although I am appreciative if somebody sends that to me, I'm in no way asking for free products. I'm not a paid spokesperson. I'm not trying to be an influencer. But when I do find something now that I can't even believe, like if you're watching the video, my face just keeps lighting up because I'm like, Kate, you like literally cracked the code. I
Yeah.
can't even believe like how great my hair was. And now I want everybody to know about it. We might need to make this like a two-part series now because now I just want to talk in like all about like the true chemistry behind it. Like, why is your product so good when other products are so sucky, right? We can get all into that. But I
Yeah.
want to focus more back on your entrepreneur journey because that's really, what we're trying to share with people is like going from again idea to action and what that road really looks like. So you had a background in the beauty industry, you knew how products were developed, you got with a chemist who, believed enough in you that they were going to go this route with you. And then once you launched it and started getting into the marketplace, like what has your journey looked like now? Because, there's always that point where you're like, well, we need to grow as a company to generate revenue to keep going. So the
Yeah.
level you're at now, like what's the next step for you?
So my next step is going to be very disappointing or might be exciting. It depends on how you hear it. But I run my company in a way so that I can still spend time with my family. And so right now, if we were to like never increase sales ever and just laterally move through the universe, like with the same sales we have right now, I would be totally happy. I can spend time with my kids and my husband. I can pay my employees a bonus. Like I can, we all seem to enjoy our day. Like I have a nice team now and I have my own factory now. Like it's crazy. But I'm not on like a growth trajectory, I guess. And a lot of that means it really has to do with I don't think I don't think the I just want to call it the Shark Tankification of America is like necessary. Like if you are making enough to live like a comfortable life and to treat your employees well, um, and God willing, be able to pay them Christmas bonuses and all that stuff at the end of the year, then that is like a good life. And so once you start thinking that there's a better life or more revenue is going to be better for you, I don't know if that's a promise that gets fulfilled. So because I'm not sure if that like so many bigger brand owners I talk to seem miserable and want and miss the days when their company was smaller. So actually like that learning I got was I just don't mind keeping it small.
I'm sitting here laughing again because now I remember why we had so much fun on the first conversation because we did touch on this. I remember it. I'm so glad you brought it up again because I am of the same mindset. The internet has trained us to think that you must shoot to be a billionaire. And if
Yeah.
you don't achieve, because it used to be millionaire, that's not enough
Yeah.
anymore. Not enough. You have to be a billionaire. And if you're not constantly gunning for a billionaire status or of major billions, you literally are a failure. You're just a
Right.
failure. You didn't make $1 billion and you're not
Mhm.
consistently making $1 billion, then why are you even alive, right? And I am like you, like I want to enjoy my life. I want to run. I want to spend time with my dog. I want to hike. I want a successful business because clearly I need to pay my bills, but
Right.
I don't want to feel like I am grinding
Hmm.
every day to get to the next level. This is why
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah. Oh,
Right
thank
there.
you. I spring out of out of my bed every day with a sense of purpose and I enjoy the work that I do. The second it's not like that anymore, I I I won't want to run this business. You know what I mean? Like the second it turns and sours for me, where I wake up and I'm like, ugh, I gotta work on dip. And like I think that would be the time where I'm like, okay, it's time to wrap it all up, like box it up, put it away. Because I think I don't know, we lose sight of what's important in life, and what is important is going outside, spending time away from your phone, and like going and spending time with your family and creating memories that are meaningful. And I think if you're a business owner, especially female founder, you're like kind of forced to put yourself out there way more than, a product that a male person has invented or put out there. I think it's the world is really hard on female founders, and you're expected to be out there and in public facing and open to criticism all the time and open to comments and answering. Like, I just don't know if that's the life I ever wanted. And it certainly isn't the life I'm going to strive for.
Yes, and don't even get me started on the whole Instagram aspirational thing where everybody makes it like I roll out of bed, it's so easy, and I just, live this kind of charmed, perfect life. And I mentioned that because I recently just started working with a client where we're building her business Instagram, and she is fully ingrained in this aspirational world. And I'm
Mhm.
trying, she's like, oh, well, I love this one's, feed because you can tell she just does it naturally. She just does it herself. I said, girl, she is paying a marketing agency to have that effortless look. So please
Totally.
stop acting like the girl's not, first of all, not giving the woman her due. She's clearly working very hard. But secondly, nobody's life is like that. And by perpetrating that myth, all we
Mhm.
do is lie to each other and make each other feel like, again, you're not measuring up, right?
Totally. Totally. I think that's, comparison is the thief of joy. And that is true. It's been true to humans since the beginning of time.
Right. But with that said, I do find it funny that, you have been quoted as saying, buy better, buy less, which
Mhm.
as a business owner, people are like, Kate, you're putting yourself out of business.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, I'm going to have to wash my hair for as long as I'm on this earth and alive, right? So it's
Right.
not like, suddenly I buy one little bar and I never buy it again.
Totally. What's interesting about dip, which is like makes my heart sing, is I'll see someone who was kind of skeptical, ordered it, and then they love it so much that I see that same person buy it and send it to like six different addresses because they know like they want their girlfriends, their sisters, their aunts, their mothers to like all try it too. And that has been one of the biggest ways dip has grown, has been from our own customer base that like are shocked. They're shocked that the conditioner lasts so long. They like don't believe it. They're like, yeah, yeah, okay. But then it'll be like a year, it'll be a year later and they'll write to me and they're like, I can't believe my conditioner bars lasted this long. And that is very cool.
Yes, and can I say also, I really appreciate the visual aids that you built into your shampoo and your conditioner bars. And you know what I'm talking about. One is a square and one is a
Hmm.
circle because
Yeah.
I excitedly ripped open my box. I opened everything up and then I looked at it, I said, oh, wait, which one was the conditioner? Which one was the shampoo, right? Luckily, I
Yeah.
still had the unopened ones. So for our listening audience out there, tell me right now, which one's the square?
Okay. Square S shampoo, conditioner C circle.
You just blew my mind. Thank you very much. I will remember that now.
No, it's
Thank
good.
you.
It's good. It's a little bit of an intrigue, a little bit of mystery, and then like a quick solve.
Yes. See, I mean, you got it all figured out. I love that. Okay, so now we're at the part of the story where your brand is launched, you're doing well, you're at the level that you love. We are dealing with sustainability in whatever forms it is. Where do you see like the future of dip then? Like, what other problems are you already trying to solve?
I think the thing I'd like to solve the most, and this is not conventional, but I see a big um, you know, gap between the political parties right now. And the bridge we can make between the two of them is that we all live on Earth. And so I'd like for sustainable messaging to include everyone and not be so and not be so rigid in its rules. I think everyone can make smaller changes, and I think everyone should um smaller changes lead to bigger changes. And it's not enough for half the population in the country to be included in the conversation. I think we need to create a bridge. I think sustainability is the perfect bridge to get people from both sides having this conversation about plastic ingredients and the earth in general.
Oh my God, so are you saying like clean hair is going to lead to world peace?
You know what? In my imaginary fantasy life, everyone that is exactly what leads to world peace. But
Well, I mean, my mom did always teach me that when you look better, you feel better.
mhm.
And I agreed with her up until the point of like putting on a full face of makeup every day, which at this point in my life, I absolutely refuse to do. If you guys are watching me on video, this is no makeup, no filter, girl. I'm like, look, I'm 54 years old, deal with it. But I do enjoy having like a clean, let's say body and hair. I find that that makes me feel amazing. For as much as I love running and being the
Yeah,
dirty running girl, I do feel amazing after a shower.
totally. It is a universal feel good thing to have a shower and, clean off the yesterday's whatever. You know?
Okay, so I saved a product that was in my box just for this because I wanted to do my own unwrapping. And this is the one that is going to help me on those in between days, I think it was. Hold on.
Oh yeah,
You know which one this is, right?
I do.
Because I want you to talk about this. I'm saving this for you. It's like Christmas. It's too bad if you guys aren't watching the video. So this is the secret sauce enzyme cleansing spray.
Yep. And
Tell
so
us
that
about it,
is
Kate. How is this changing my life?
okay, first of all, it is the only plastic thing in our line, and that will confuse people, but I'll make it a little less confusing. Um, we, I was just happened to overhear a conversation where this beauty brand was gonna throw all of these plastic bottles into a landfill. And so I intercepted that conversation and purchased all of these bottles because they're not really like the aesthetic for dip. Like they're basically dead stock bottles that I decided to give them one last life before, someone could refill them or, eventually they would go to a landfill. But I wanted to give them one last, rendezvous on Earth. And so yeah, they're dead stock packaging, and inside is this enzyme spray. And what it is basically a shower in a bottle. So there's many ways to use, the like shower in a bottle sounds kind of obtuse. And then when you kind of think about all the times you need it, if you're camping, if you are too lazy, if you run at night and you're too lazy to shower, you can spray it in your hair and wake up with clean hair. Or if, there's very unsexy things like if you're postpartum and you just can't get yourself into the shower, which has happened to me, or if you have someone in the hospital that you love that or have a broken leg, you have a snowboarding accident or something and you can't get to the shower. Like there's so many things. If you have protective hairstyles, if you have clip-in extensions, literally it will clean anything. And also the secret thing that it does is if you have red wine on a white t-shirt, it will take that out too.
Whoa, it
I just
really
don't
is the
advertise that
secret.
because then people start to like not think it's for hair. It's formulated specifically for like hair and scalp, but like it will take even if I spill pizza grease on my shirt, I have an enzyme spray handy. I can just spray it on there.
Wow, you like have covered everything. And that is why it is truly called the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Again, I love that you use the dead stock bottles because you're like, the bottles are already out there. Let
Yep.
me, use them for the purpose they were intended instead of just cramming them into a landfill. Because we see that over and over with businesses where product they don't use or product that is not at the exact maybe quality level they need, they literally will slash it, burn it, and throw it in a landfill. We see
That's
this with
exactly right.
designer labels all the time. It's
Yep.
horrifying. Thank
It's
God the
so
TikTok,
crazy.
yeah, but thank God the TikTokers are on this and they do all these like
Mhm.
reveal videos all the time.
I know.
But still, with that said, I do love that this product's basically going to take care of all of my issues at once. Especially like, for traveling and stuff. It's like I'll just take that and that'll just go with me. But yeah, I
Yeah.
waited to open it on camera because I was so excited about it. I'm like, it is going to be my secret sauce because I
It's
do like
awesome.
to have those in between days of, running. And there are just some things that, I just need to freshen up. And now you've solved that too. So
Yeah,
thank you.
it's so funny because I rarely talk about that product in any of our marketing or socials. But and I think that's kind of just the fun part. It's the secret sauce. But even one of the craziest things I heard people use it for was hairstylists that do like bridal parties. Sometimes like the bridesmaids show up with dirty hair.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like a subtle way for a hairstylist to just like spritz on and like hit with a little bit of heat. And then the hair is clean and good to go and ready to style for the wedding. But I thought that was like a really interesting use for it because it was something I never had thought was like a problem that needed solving.
Oh, that is a great point. Oh, yeah. Those girls show up and they're all like, oh, wait, I'm not getting the Few Beauty treatment. You're not going to like wash
Right.
me, do everything. It's like, no, girl, not your day. Show up
Yeah,
clean,
I've
walk
never
down the
heard of
aisle, don't get drunk and be an embarrassment. That's all you got to do, right?
totally. Totally. It was one of those things. It was like, that's wild that people show up to these things like with very dirty hair. But it's cool that that's like, it's like their secret toolkit. They're like, all good. No embarrassment, no shame, nothing. It's just good to go.
But here's the thing. Now, when they show up at the wedding with dirty hair, you can spray them down beforehand, get them all pretty to walk down the aisle. And then when they're getting all sloppy at the reception, then you can like spray whatever they're spilling all their red wine onto.
That's exactly right. And you know what?
Buy this for brides is what we're saying, girls. Like put it in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
in the goodie basket for all the bridesmaids.
And also, don't blame me that it's ugly. It is an ugly product because they're bottles that just already existed. I
It's
don't
just
love
it's just
them.
a basic bottle. I don't know why you're
Yeah.
calling it ugly. It's just a basic
Well,
bottle doing what it needs to do, doing for the purpose it was created. Because again, we are sorry it is plastic, but it was created already. So now, but Kate, what do we do when you run out of dead stock, or is this endless amount of dead stock that you'll just keep repurposing? You
I'm
don't care what
I'm
the
all,
bottle is.
so I'm always on the hunt for more dead stock. I have a few people that I, reach out to. I'm like, hey, what's new in the dead stock world? So I can, and there's always things being liquidated. So I can find those. I also, I can also eventually switch that product over to aluminum in case I can't find anything that's the same size. So like there's options, but I think we bought around 40,000 of those bottles, so we're good for a little while.
Wow. No, you've got it all taken care of. And I have heard people say that your branding is just bold and unapologetic. And now I know why, because Kate, you are very bold and unapologetic. And that
Thank
is
you.
why I enjoyed talking to you so much the first time. And I'm so glad that we got to do this again. And thank you for coming back. Thank you for my little gift box, which I am enjoying. And I am totally going to buy this for everyone I know. But before I let you go, please tell the world, our listening audience, and the people watching video, where they can find you and how to contact you.
Sure. So you can find the products at dipalready.com, and those are our handles on Instagram and TikTok. So at dip already, as if like, what are you waiting for? And then if you want to reach out to me, I'm on the back end of both of those. You can also find me at Kate Assaraf on LinkedIn, and I hope to hear from you.
Absolutely. Kate, thank you so much for coming on the show. And you know what? When you are in the LA area, we have to hook up because we have to go running. And
Oh,
then we will
totally.
spray ourselves down with secret sauce and go to brunch. It'll be great. But
Awesome.
thank you so much. It was so
Thank
much fun to
you.
talk to you for the second time.
Likewise, this is even better that this happened. It was supposed to happen this way.
I think it did. And my hair looks so freaking amazing now.
Yeah, I love
You're
it.
the best. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, so you guys know I'm not usually an ambassador, but I did love this product so much. I signed up for Kate's ambassador program, so now you can get 15% off your purchase of the Dip products. Go check it out. The link is in the show notes and also on the blog page. I think you're going to like it as much as I do. Thanks for listening to the Wild Party Podcast. If you're an entrepreneur or professional who would like to be on this podcast, please visit boomtownmarketing.com and click on podcast. We believe that every business has the potential to change the world for good, and we want to support our community to help make the world more ethical, compassionate, and sustainable for all future generations to come. And if you're looking to build your business, no matter what level you're at now, request your free marketing consultation at boomtownmarketing.com and click Get Started.